we definitely have a customer service attitude. We want to help the students and parents because you obviously have dreams and hopes for your children, and those dreams and hopes we want to help you realize all those hopes and dreams for your kids. And so I welcome you to Liberty High School. Our teachers really are, you'll find, that, and hopefully that's our reputation, that the teachers really do try to meet the needs of kids. I am a serious person. You know, I was a drill sergeant in the Army, and I had active duty service in Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Germany. I was actually on the Eastern and Czechoslovakian border patrol. I was there in Germany when the wall came down. So I'm serious about safety and security. If your kids are here, the building principal, we share. We run a disciplined organization. We want the kids to feel safe. We want the parents to know that they're safe, and so you'll know that at the very top you have a very serious person. We want the kids to behave, and it's our responsibility to help the kids, but also teach them, because it's important that kids know how to respect adult authority figures and go out and be successful in the world. The last thing that I'll mention to you as well is, and I'll say this at graduation, but every morning I will be praying for your kids. You know, you're probably not supposed to say that in public education, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. I'll be praying for your kids, and I'm also praying for you guys as parents. You know, it's not easy to parent today. You know, it's a little bit different. I was born in 1970, and so the world looks a little bit different than when I was going to school. So we care about you. You have my cell phone number. You know that I'm a serious person. After this meeting, you know, I'll be walking around. If you want to introduce yourself, you can. But again, we welcome you, and we really do care about your sons and daughters, and we want them to have a good experience. And I'm going to turn it over to Shelley Geringer, our career and college counselor.
All right, good evening. Those of you that are kind of clustered near the door, we have tons of seats down here, so come on in and get seated. We have a lot of information to cover tonight. This QR code on the providing that information to you. Team, you already met Dr. Ed Nelson, our main building principal, and then both our assistant principals and counselors are divided by alphabet. So for assistant principals, for last names beginning with A through E, that's Mr. Pryor. He's waving his hand over there near the door. Last names F through K is Dr. Kiley over on the wall as well. Last names L through R is Dr. Kiesel, waving his hand. And then last names S through Z is Dr. Shoemaker, waving his hand as well. So those are our assistant principals. And then Mr. Eldridge is our activities director, so he's in charge of all of the sports and clubs. I'm not sure if he's here somewhere or is he out? Yeah, oh yes, he's doing his job. So how about that? So you'll meet him along the way. The counseling teams, same alphabets, last names A through E is Mrs. Sheffield over near the wall. Last names F through K is Mr. Cunningham over there. And we've got Mrs. Riley for last names L through R, she's in the pink. And then Mrs. Blackford, last names S through Z, she's over there as well. I am Shelley Geringer. I'm the college and career counselor and the A+ coordinator, so I'm also in the counseling office, which is called the Student Center here at Liberty. And then we also have Colin Miller. She's our educational support counselor, so she does a little bit more of the mental health counseling in our building. So if additional support is needed, she is an excellent resource. There's some things we're going to cover today. There is going to be an activity fair. You probably walked past some of the tables on your way in. The activity fair will be in our commons, also known as the cafeteria, and you'll be able to see different clubs and activities in addition to some electives that they want to kind of showcase some of the courses that they offer. You may see some of those out there. Afterwards, the counselors and principals will be in this space, so if you have additional questions after this presentation, feel free to wander down the aisles and find one of us to try to get your questions answered. In that vein, because our time is kind of a hot commodity tonight, I'm going to talk as fast as I can and give you as much information as I can, but we're going to hold questions until the presentation is done, and then you can come down and get questions answered afterwards so everybody can kind of get to the next stop. For the presentation, this is kind of our agenda. We're going to start with what's in your folder. So if you guys, in your blue folder, you'll notice that you have a sheet that has some of our important information, like the names and email addresses of the people that I just introduced. And then on the right side are some QR codes to get you to some helpful websites. Our main Liberty website, the A+ information screen, which I'm going to talk about some more, but then you can reference the website for that. Some frequently asked questions, and that's particularly frequently asked questions for students that are coming up from 8th grade into high school. And then course selection instructions, we're going to talk about that, choosing and requesting those courses for 9th grade. We have a small website that we created with all of those instructions, and that QR code will get you there. If you are interested in playing some sports in high school, there is an athletic information night. It is on March 12th at 6:30 back in this space. So even if you're thinking of maybe doing a spring sport, this is for the entire school year. Any sport at all, if you're interested, you'll want to come to that night and learn more. And then we also have the A+ agreement. So this is a participation agreement. I'm on a later slide, I'm going to be talking to you about the requirements of the A+ program and then what are the benefits of completing the program. To participate in the program, you need to fill out this form and sign it. You'll turn that in, if you are a Frontier middle school family, you will turn it into the counseling office at Frontier. And if you are a private school family that's transferring in, you'll bring that with you when you come to do your registration paperwork and turn in your course selection page. This is no obligation. I really highly recommend that 100% of students are signing and turning this in, because even if later on you don't finish the requirements of the A+ program, there's no obligation. It's just nice to get it taken care of as you're finishing up 8th grade. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that in a second. So that's it in your folder. Besides, there's one other thing that's a postcard, and this is an invitation to partner with us. So if you are a business owner or you work in a small business that would be interested in partnering with Wentzville School District to help out with opportunities for job shadowing, opportunities for internships, any experiential learning, those kinds of things. And you'll hear a little bit more about that on a later slide as well, but this is an invitation to partner with us in that regard. So we're going to go ahead and move on. So we're going to start with the A+ program. So the A+ program is something that students can kind of work on over their 4 years in high school. There are certain requirements, and then if you complete those requirements, here's what the benefit is. So after you complete the A+ requirements, you are eligible for a free associate's degree at a community college or a public trade or technical college in Missouri. So this is a Missouri program. It's a Missouri scholarship. That free associate's degree, so there are many students that what they want to do for a career is going to possibly require some college. And that free associate's degree is roughly equivalent to the first 2 years of college. Some jobs out there in the universe only need a 2-year degree. And so if you get that associate's degree and that job only required just that associate's degree, then they're done basically for free, and they can go out in the world and get a job. Some jobs need a 4-year college degree or more. And so some kids will then go to the community college, complete their associate's degree, and then transfer all of those credits from their associate's degree to a university and finish up those 3rd and 4th year at the university. So the first 2 years would be basically free, then year 3 and year 4 is what you're paying for. To put that in real terms, it's about $25,000 a year to go to Mizzou, which is our most popular school that we send our students to. So $25,000 to go to Mizzou over 4 years is $100,000 expense. If you go to the community college for the first 2 years for basically free, then you take that $100,000 bill to Mizzou and you cut it in half, and it's now just $50,000. But it's saving $50,000. So this is the true intended benefit of completing the A+ program, and that's why the state kind of made this program, is to assist families in completing that associate's degree. Now, there are some other ways to use that A+ program. So some students, some families are like, that's probably not in the cards for us. Maybe we kind of see our child as somebody that would go away to a university immediately after graduation. So we're really not seeing our child as the kind of student that's going to go to the community college, and that's fine too. That summer right after you graduate, you're nobody's student yet, and you can use your A+ scholarship that summer after you graduate to take 2 free classes at the community college and then transfer those 2 credits to whatever university you're going to. Even if it's University of Alaska, doesn't matter. You could take those 2 classes for free, either in person or online. So you could take 2 online classes even that summer after you graduate. You don't even have to step foot on the community college campus. Those 2 classes easily would cost $1,500 to $2,000 each at a university. So even if that's the only thing you used your A+ scholarship for, you're saving yourselves $3,000 to $4,000 in college expenses. And also, college is difficult. So in college, each semester, to stay on track to graduate on time, students are expected to take 5 classes first semester, 5 classes second semester. If you take 2 free classes in the summer, you're still on track, even if you only take 4 classes first semester and 4 classes second semester. Those classes were free, but it also made freshman year of college a little bit easier because you could still be a full-time student, not falling behind on your pace, but be able to only take 4 classes instead of 5. Highly, highly, highly recommend that. I really, close to 100% of students should be taking advantage of at least that benefit of the A+ program. Additionally, there are about 15 universities within the state of Missouri that have their own A+ scholarship. They're not truly participating in the Missouri State program about it, but they have their own scholarship to try to entice students that completed A+. And these are schools that you are interested in, you have heard of: Missouri State, SEMO, Truman, what else? Webster, and I'm forgetting probably a dozen more. So these are schools that give their own scholarship out for completing the A+ program. Also, it's a great opportunity to just have a backup plan. Hopefully, we are all starting to get a little over the PTSD of COVID, but COVID was a big game changer. A lot of people thought they had plans, that the plans didn't quite work out the way they wanted. And to be able to have a backup plan so that you could use that scholarship to take classes, even if life kind of threw you a curveball. I've seen families that somebody, maybe a parent got ill or lost a job, and so maybe they had to kind of regroup financially. And so maybe a semester or 2, that student needed to attend that community college and then go ahead and get on with their normal plans. This is just a great opportunity to have that backup plan in your back pocket in case you need it. So that's the benefits of the A+ program. So how do you complete the program? Well, in 9th and 10th grade, the only thing you really need to do is work on your GPA and work on your attendance, because GPA and attendance are 2 of the requirements of the program. You have to be either a U.S. citizen or a legal resident of the United States. You have to sign an agreement. Remember, that's the form that's in your folder. You have to have a 4-year cumulative 95% attendance. That's equivalent to 8 days per year. So they recognize that you're not going to have perfect attendance, but you need to have 95% attendance. You have to be a good citizen, so staying out of trouble at school. You have to have a 2.5 cumulative GPA. This is your unweighted GPA, because some classes are weighted, so this would be your unweighted GPA. A 2.5 is like a C+ average. We call it the A+ program, which I think scares some people away, but it's simply getting a C+ GPA, and everybody in this room could do that. There are a couple of opportunities to take a math assessment. You need to get what's considered like, if the Algebra 1 EOC, you have to have a score of proficient, or on the ACT, you have to have a 17 or higher. Both of those scores, if I was going to give them a letter grade, I would also say they're probably like that C minus level. So again, everybody in this room is very capable of getting those scores. You have to complete 50 hours of either tutoring or maybe a combination of some job shadowing. Typically, you're not going to start those until junior year. I will talk a lot about that as you get a little closer to junior year. Just be aware. And it is something that's very specific. So it's not, I did some community service at my church or I'm in Girl Scouts. It's not that. It's within Wentzville School District, and they have to come to a training before they can even get started so that I can make sure they know exactly what counts and what doesn't count. That, again, won't happen probably until junior year. So freshman and sophomore year, all you're worrying about is keeping that GPA up, keeping that attendance percentage up, and then when we get to junior year, they can start working on those hours. And then in 12th grade, they have to fill out a financial aid application, which they'll hear a lot more about as they become seniors. Okay, some differences between middle and high school. High school is just more in general of a lot of things. More options, more independence. You have to put forth more effort. There's more opportunities. So that's awesome and that's exciting, but it also gives a lot of opportunities to maybe not do all the things you were supposed to do. So if you kind of feel like you jumped in and you thought you were doing good, but oh my gosh, now I'm starting to struggle a little bit, as Dr. Nelson mentioned, we really are here to help, but we do need you to communicate. So Dr. Nelson likes to say, don't suffer in silence. So let us know, let your teachers know if you're struggling in any way. And we do have a lot of resources to help you when you're struggling. Students are in high school, they're going to be working towards earning credits, and credits add up to meet all of our graduation requirements. So if a student gets an F in a class in high school, if it's something they need for graduation, then very likely it's something they'll either have to take again or take in summer school, but they aren't progressing towards those graduation requirements. That's a bit different than middle school. In middle school, if you failed a class, kind of really nothing happened. They just kept pushing you forward, but that doesn't happen in high school. And I promise you, if you took a class as a freshman and you kind of hated it and you kind of didn't do well in it and then you ended up failing it, I promise you, you're not going to like it better the next year with the next batch of ninth graders when you're a 10th grader. So it's very important that you guys stay on top of your assignments. Zeros can tank your grade very quickly. Some teachers are going to be more lenient than others on deadlines. Deadlines are very important. It's time to really start kind of stepping up to the plate and doing your part. We do talk about career paths. You'll learn a little bit on a later slide about pathways that help kind of guide some of what you should be taking. If you know some possible future careers you might be interested in, it probably makes sense to take some classes that kind of fit into that pathway to help prepare you for those future careers. We do have something called Nest Time here at Liberty. That happens once a week on Thursdays. It's kind of like a homeroom/study hall, and it's an hour and a half. So every Thursday for an hour and a half, every student in the building has the opportunity to either sit and work on their own stuff or maybe go to a teacher and get additional help or make up that quiz that they missed when they were absent. It's an opportunity to stay on top of things. We have power lunch and a modified block schedule. So what that means is every day of the week, we have a 1 hour power lunch. Power lunch is 1 hour, and everybody's on lunch at the same time. So even if you don't have a lot of classes with your friends, you always have at least that 1 hour in the middle of the day to connect, to find your people, to have some good conversations, maybe kind of like chill out a little bit from the stress of your day. But you also have, so you're going to fit eating in that time. But you also have some time that teachers will have open office hours. It's an opportunity to come to the student center and talk to one of the counselors if you needed help with something. There's a lot of opportunities to use that power lunch. Sometimes our clubs also have their meetings during power lunch, because we know that sometimes staying after school is a transportation issue, so a lot of the club meetings will happen during power time. Block schedule is interesting. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, the schedule kind of is the same. There are 8 periods. The 5th period is a lunch, so it's not a class. So they go to a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th hour class, 5th hour lunch, 6th, 7th, and 8th hour class, and then they're done with their day Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Wednesday and Thursday is a little bit different. So those other classes, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, are about 50 minutes long. Wednesday and Thursday are about 90 minutes long. So you'll often see teachers use that opportunity. So if it's a science class, they might have a lab, or if they're in their culinary class, that might be when they do a cooking assignment. Some teachers might use that as a good day to do a test. So they'll do a test review and then the exam. So you'll see that happening on Wednesdays and Thursdays. They have about half of their classes, 4 of their classes on Wednesday. The other 3 are on Thursday, and that 4th period is that study hall that I mentioned, that Nest Time. All right, so we have opportunities to get academic help. So there really is no excuse that you are falling behind in a class. If you've never reached out for help to the teachers, that's kind of on you, students. So we're really expecting you to take ownership of your grade. We're giving you lots of opportunities, but we're not handcuffing you to the teacher's desk to make sure you're getting it done. That's on you to make sure you're getting it done. Teachers are here before school begins. We are always here by 7 a.m. School begins at 7:15. So even if you just did 10 minutes before school every day, at the end of the week, that's 50 minutes of extra time, possibly even one-on-one with that teacher to get some questions answered. Also, we have after-school academic assist in the library. That is a free tutoring service for 1 hour every Monday through Thursday. So that's another 4 hours a week that you could get help. Teachers have, during the week, every single teacher has a 30-minute office hours during the lunchtime. So you could go see a teacher during their office hours. And the math department has kind of banded together so that every single day they have at least a math teacher available every single day during lunch, so you can get math help. Nest time, again, is that study hall, that 90-minute period on Thursdays, so you can get an hour of help during that time as well. Attendance is so important. So I don't know what your journey to this point has encompassed with attendance. I'm going to tell you, this is my 23rd year as a high school counselor, and I have seen the trend of high school attendance take a very disturbing dive. And here's my take on, I think, what's happening. I don't know, I feel like after COVID, things kind of changed a little bit, and we came to understand that a lot can be done virtually. So I think a lot of times the mentality of students and their parents is that, if you miss a day, you can still get online and access your Canvas course and still turn in your assignments. And that may be kind of true, but I can tell you that it's definitely going to catch up to you. And there are a lot of studies, a lot of statistics that show that attendance correlates with a lot of other things. So parents, raise your hand if you would like your child to do well academically. All right. Would you keep it up if you would like them to not get in trouble by having bad behaviors? Excellent. How about, would you like them to have a reduced risk of substance abuse? Right? I think you see where I'm going, right? If they are here, they are going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of them. They are making connections with their teachers, with their peers. Students that attend regularly also have better physical habits, better healthy eating, better activity. They have higher self-esteem and better social opportunities. These things are not coincidence. And so here's what I have seen happen, and I'm warning you against this. Sometimes, you're going to be shocked by this, sometimes students don't want to come to school. And sometimes parents are worn down by these things. And maybe a parent is tempted to say, do you have anything important going on today? If you missed today, would you miss anything important? And maybe that day there isn't a test. Maybe that day there isn't some big thing that they're missing. But it is a slippery slope, folks, and I am telling you that when you are in the habit of missing school because nothing important was going on that day, it really sets our students up for these poor habits that will continue into college and into employment. This is the time to teach our students that they don't get to just cherry pick and come on the important days. Those of you that have an employment outside or even inside of the home, do you get to just show up on the important days at work? Please tell me what your job is if you do, because I would maybe consider a change. You have to show up every day and you have to do the grind, right? And so we need to teach our students that that is an important part of life. They are not an honored guest. They are part of this school, okay? So we need to see them every day. Unless they're puking, please don't send them. Deal, okay. We want them to get involved just as much on the statistics. Students that are involved, they have higher self-esteem. They have higher performance in classes. They are making those social connections. Their mental health is better. Moving our bodies, getting connected with other people is always going to have higher mental health. So please attend that. If you're interested in sports specifically, please attend that athletic event on March 12th. We do want you to think about the overall load of the classes that you're taking next year. Maybe you are a smart cookie, and maybe your teachers think that you would be able to be successful in advanced English and advanced math and advanced social studies and take a world language and take that weighted elective and the project Lead the Way and all these hard classes. And maybe you could. But should you, is my question. So I always recommend that you play to your strengths. What are the classes that the subjects that you are strong in or interested in? Maybe make those advanced classes, but maybe kind of balance it out, because high school is hard. It's a significant jump in the expectations academically, but we also want you to make time to do some of those activities as well. So kind of just consider that overall balance each year, not just freshman year. We do in Wentzville School District have a program called Pathways, and we have a tool called Zello, with an X, that we use to help with the pathways. So I'm going to kind of describe what those are. Pathways, basically, if I'm going to simplify it, I would kind of compare it a little bit to a college major. So a pathway, we've got different pathways in the WSD, and we've basically said these kind of represent the general paths that different careers fall into. And therefore, there are some classes here at Liberty that kind of today, what are some good choices from that standpoint? And maybe it changes tomorrow, and maybe it changes 17 times in high school. That's okay. As long as they're always kind of thinking of future focus, that the decisions that they're making are helping guide them towards future successes and future opportunities. That's kind of what we want them to be thinking about. So there are 5 different pathways, and they're kind of listed up here. Arts and communications, so that's going to entail a lot of classes that have a lot more to do with maybe the ELA Comm Arts, artistic ventures, those kinds of things. Business and global studies, as you can clearly tell, it would definitely be business, but it's also things like political science. It could be things like law enforcement, those kinds of things. Health and human services are basically helping professions, so either in the health field or not in the health field, but professions that help other people. STEM is that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That includes even not just people that are wanting to be, doctorates in engineering, but that also includes people who want to learn how to build a house and be a carpenter, those kinds of fields. And then Explorer is for that person that's just like, I'm going to maybe try a little bit of this and try a little bit of that, and maybe that's going to be how I accumulate some of my credits during high school, because an Explorer is also a pathway. They are purposefully choosing to kind of try a little bit of everything, and that's also considered a pathway. I like this second bullet. If we polled students as they graduate from whatever program to move on to become employed, they would estimate themselves as having about 63% of the workforce readiness skills that they have, and the employers disagree. The employers say they are about 29% prepared. And so this is one of the reasons why we are starting the idea of pathways. We want students to be able to dive deep and to experience a lot of things while they're in high school that will either help them decide to move closer to a career, or maybe I just had a student today. She took an experiential learning program in early childhood education because she thought she wanted to be a teacher, and guess what she discovered? She doesn't want to be a teacher. Do you know how awesome it is that she figured that out before she graduated high school, before she spent a dime of money or a minute of her time in college in the wrong major? So these are the kind of reasons that we're kind of thinking of trying to help funnel people into pathways. We have on our website these concentrator forms. So of those 5 main categories of pathways, each one has, I think it's like 4 concentrations that fall into that category. So in arts and communication, for instance, there's one that's more performing arts, and there's another one that's actual visual arts. They're very different. So this form tells you sample careers, possible college majors, and the classes at Liberty that you can take that would lead you towards that particular career. So we have those resources. This, where it says WD Pathways in blue, that is a hyperlink that will take you to the Pathways page on our website. So when we send you this presentation, you can access all of those pages. I'm not going to cover the frequently asked questions, but basically, students can change their pathway. they can explore, even if they're trying to complete a pathway. That doesn't mean that they can't, I want to do this career, but maybe I want to be an engineer, but I really love choir. Yes, you can still do all of that. You're not just funneled into one category. At graduation, there is a recognition for completing a pathway, but that should be kind of secondary to that the pathway is hopefully useful to you. Zello is a tool. So Frontier Middle School students have already been using Zello. They have interest questionnaires, skills questionnaires, a lot of career information, college majors information, so much information. So when students are kind of figuring out what career pathway they're on, they can do a lot of research within Zello that tells them, maybe I scored high on a certain career. I can dig into that career and it'll tell me some of the tasks, the duties, the skills, the personality styles that are needed for that job. How much money do they make? What kind of education or training do they need? All of that is within Zello. Then you can research, once I know how much education they need, I can see which colleges have that degree. I can see what kind of majors I can major in at those colleges. So it's a one-stop shop. It's a great tool to help guide students through that planning for the future. And there's some more about Zello. In senior year, they have the opportunity to do some capstone experiences. So by the time they get to senior year, a lot of students are done mostly with the credits that they must have to graduate, and they're kind of just needing extra electives. And so we have a lot of opportunities for students to even get outside of our walls and do what we call experiential hands-on learning. So we have students that are doing healthcare things. We have students that are learning how to build things and weld things. We have students that are learning how to become a CNA. There's so many different opportunities. They're listed here. It's a little too soon for you guys to be doing them yet, but maybe to plan ahead. I know that I want to be a nurse one day, so I think my senior year, I would like to try that CNA Nurses Aid program so that I can graduate with my CNA certificate, and then when I graduate from high school, I can work as a CNA while I go to college to get my nursing degree. These are things that Wentzville School District pays for because we are investing in you, because we believe that these are very valuable experiences. Again, I did mention, so we have the pathways. The QR code on the left is if you want to register as a partner. So again, if you have a business that you think would be a great partner for us for our opportunities for our students in the pathways, then you can register there, or you can learn more about the Pathways program with that other QR code. And then if you have any questions, Julie Durham in the district office and Mark Tiernan are great places to start. Okay, next. The DNA of college and career readiness. So this is my cup of tea. I am super passionate about students being ready with a plan when they graduate from here. And even if that plan changes, I tell them the average adult changes their career 7 times. It's okay. You do not have to have your life figured out. But we want you to know what your plan is for step 1 when you walk out of here. So I say that this is about the DNA. So D is desired results. So parents, shout out at me. Name some characteristics that you want your adult children to have. Let me hear some. Time management, work ethic, drive, happiness maybe, right? What about resilience? What about responsibility? What else? What was that one? Integrity. Okay, so these are our desired results. We're picturing in our head what we want our adult children to have. From now until they graduate from high school, we would like to partner with you, but we need your help because these students are not going to get those characteristics accidentally. Nobody better raise their hands on this question. Parents, raise your hand if you are still cutting up your child's meat on their dinner plate. Okay. Good. You guys stopped doing that. At one point in their life, that was a necessary thing you needed to do for them, correct? It's no longer necessary because they have the ability to do that themselves. So what makes a person become resilient? They have to fail. They have to get knocked down and learn how to get back up with your help. But if you try to block every single adversity from their path, are they going to develop resilience? No. If you let them skip school, are they developing responsibility? No. If you're still doing their laundry, sorry guys, sorry 8th graders. I am asking you guys to think about these next 4 years as a bit of a boot camp, because you're preparing them to be a future adult out in the world, and you should refuse to do for your children what they can do for themselves. Maybe periodically you help them with some things, but you're not cutting their meat anymore, right? So kind of take that into stride with what's happening here in high school, making sure that you're giving them the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet, because sometimes when we're helping, we are disabling. So take a step back, let them struggle a little bit, and don't save them from everything, okay? And so what are their needs? So we're going to try to meet their needs academically. What do you need to see? What do we need to see? What do teachers need to see? We need to make sure that we're identifying what those needs are. If we're going to require some things from them, we're also going to try to meet them where they are if they need additional assistance. And then the important part is to take action. So once we know what the goal is, let's take some action to get there. So the nuts and bolts of picking classes for next year. Everybody is going to need 7 credits worth of classes. These are 3 different examples of students. Joe on the left is taking pretty standard classes. Regular English 1, regular Algebra 1. AME is the science class that all freshmen take. It's Applied Matter and Energy, I think, Applications of Matter and Energy. Regular Social Studies is a semester of Cultural Geography and a semester of Western Civilization. And then all freshmen take a semester of health and a semester of PE. Then they get 2 choices. Joe chose Spanish 1, and then a semester of child development and a semester of culinary arts. So that's Joe's schedule, pretty standard. Bobby has an assistance class. So he struggles a little bit with reading. His current English teacher recommended that he, in addition to his English 1, take a class called Reading Enrichment. Because that teacher recommended Reading Enrichment as one of Bobby's additional choice classes, that really only gave Bobby 1 choice, and he chose to take the Woods class. So he did a hands-on class. Susie's on the other end of the spectrum. Susie's been recommended for a lot of advanced classes, so she's planning to take advanced English, advanced geometry, because she already took algebra in 8th grade, still that same science class, and advanced history. Susie is also taking French, Principles of Biomedical Science, which is a weighted class, also available for college credit, and Art Fundamentals. Now you'll notice there's no PE or health on Susie's. That's because she took it in summer school, which is an option. If there's so many classes that you want to take that you need to get PE and health out of the way, and you can fill in that spot with something else, I would only recommend that if you just have so many classes and you really just can't fit them all in. Maybe you're in band, and you want a world language, and you want to take 4 years of the biomedical science classes. You don't have enough room for everything. So maybe in that situation, but other than that, enjoy your summer. I wouldn't get all tied up in knots about taking summer school. Our website, this is a link again, can take you to our website. It has all the tools that you need, but I am gonna show you on the website some of the screens that you have access to. So on entering your course requests, for those of you that are in Frontier, you're already in our system, so you're going to be able to follow a video that tells you how to enter your course requests into Focus. And if you're more of a video person, you can watch the video, which is the top link on the left. The bottom link on the left is if you're more of a visual, like a step-by-step with screenshots, and so more words on that one. The course requests are due in Focus for Frontier families by February 14th. The portal will close, and you won't be able to enter your classes in there anymore. If you're a private school student, you're going to be filling out a piece of paper, and you're going to bring that to the registrar when you guys finish up your registration. All of those, there's no, like, if somebody goes home tonight and follows the instructions and gets their classes in, you don't have any more preference or priority for your course requests than somebody that does it on February 14th. They're all treated exactly the same, and private schools, you have even a little bit longer because we're going to enter it for you even after the portal's closed. At that point, it's just a request. When you're putting your requests in Focus, it will ask you for alternates. So if I can't get culinary arts, what else would I want to take just in case? So that way, we're hopefully giving you your first choice, but if not, we'll know what your second choice is. Does that make sense to you guys? So we're going to follow those directions. There's a video there. Then there's also all the step-by-step screenshots with the arrows that show you what to be paying attention to. Now I'm getting to the part where there's a link to our course guide. I'm not going to click on that particular link, but the course guide is a very long document. It's separated into departments, and I can read the descriptions of each class. I can find out what do they do in that class. Is there a prerequisite for that class? So something I have to take before I can take that other class. So for instance, before I can take Culinary Arts 2, You're probably not shocked to learn that you have to take Culinary Arts 1 first. That's the prerequisite. So it's going to tell you about prerequisites, course descriptions, and whether or not it is a full year class or a half year class. Classes are, each semester you're going to earn a half credit. So if it's a full year, you're going to earn a whole credit. And if it's just a semester class, you're going to earn a half of a credit. It'll tell you that in the course descriptions on the course guide. There's also a link here to the flow chart of classes. So if I start in Algebra 1, and then the next year I do Geometry, then what comes after that? It kind of tells you for each of our departments the flow of freshman year to sophomore year to junior year to senior year, so you can kind of see that. There's a link to graduation requirements I'm going to show you on a screen in just a second, and a link to graduating with honors on another screen as well. There's also a link to 9th grade courses. I am going to open that up just so you guys can see. This lists all of the classes that are offered to 9th graders. So you could have this list up and then go into the course guide and read descriptions as you're making decisions. You can even print that out and use it kind of as a general worksheet before you get into Focus to enter your actual course requests. All right. GPAs and credits. Each semester is worth a half of a credit. As I mentioned, we're trying to accumulate credits. A's are worth a 4.0, B's are 3.0, C's are 2.0, D's are 1.0, F's are 0 unless it's a weighted class. Weighted classes are harder with higher expectations. So if you get an A, it's worth a 5.0, and there's a corresponding bump for each of those. If you fail a class, you might have to repeat it. You might have to do summer school. You might not graduate on time. So these are important things to know. These are the graduation requirements. I'm going to fly through these because you can look at them later. 4 credits of English, 3 credits of math, 3 credits of social studies, 3 credits of science, 1 credit of PE, 1 credit of practical art. Do not get confused by the word art. Think of it just as practical classes. They're business, they're marketing, they're computers, they are family and consumer sciences, industrial tech classes, marketing classes. All those things are considered more practical skills. You need 1 credit of those. 1 credit of fine arts. Those are the creative arts classes. A half credit of health, a half credit of personal finance. If I added from English down to personal finance, if I added those up, that's 17 credits. I have to have those 17 credits, and then I need 8 more of anything. I could take all extra science classes. I could take all extra PE classes. It doesn't matter. You have to have 8 credits of electives to add up to 25. That's graduation requirements. Make sense? Nods? Cool. I know I'm talking fast. I'm trying to get you out. Graduating with honors, just something to kind of be aware. We have 4 levels of graduating with honors. The GPA is a big part of that requirement, and it starts with the first day of freshman year. If you want to graduate with honors, you need to establish a strong GPA that very first semester. The lowest is the 3.0 GPA. The highest is above 4.0. It's based on your weighted GPA. You have to take certain classes. You have to take career readiness assessments like the ACT or the SAT or the ASVAB. More to come on that later. But there's certain things that you need to do. You also need to be involved in high school activities, clubs or sports, in order to earn these honors. So if this is something you're interested in, you're going to link to the page on that and kind of start planning each year to make sure you're on track for that. We've got a frequently asked questions page here. Make sure when you're in the system choosing classes that you're hitting save and done and submit it in your Canvas class. For those of you that are in Frontier, you have a Canvas. Oh, no, that's not for them. No Canvas class, but make sure you're saving it in Focus. There is summer school. Summer school is virtual. It is asynchronous. So that means you'll be working online, but not necessarily like with a teacher on the other end of the online. You're working independently. And there's a health class and there is a personal fitness class. So that's it. Anybody that's ready to head to the activities fair, head there. Anybody that has a question, come on down front. Thank you so much for attending. Welcome to Liberty High School.